So if you have the Wi-Fi, now the goal is to compile PyGP, so we have just latest version. So the goal is to use the latest development version, which is 2.8. We are planning to have an official release of 2.8 and then to have an official release of 2.9, which will be the next stable version. Okay. So the instructions are here, but I will explain this. If you want the text of this talk, you will be in this directory. Actually, it's better if you look at the slide on your own computer, because I will need to. There are different slides for different operating systems, so maybe you just want to read yours. Okay, so we start by Windows. So usually people that use Windows don't have a compiler and environment to compile things, so we provide the pre-compiled binaries. So they are in these directories. And there are two versions, there are 64-bit and 32-bit. So the 64-bit is new this year. It was done from work by driver, which is here. So normally your computer should be new enough to handle the 64-bit. So for Mac OS user, well, it's easier to have a compiler, but maybe if you don't, you can try these binaries with they don't seem to work. But
well, they do work on some machines, and they crash immediately on some others, depending on.
Well, actually, it's very simple. If the machine is one of our test machines, they work perfectly. If it's any other machine, they crash. So. So if you have Mac OS, you can try them and tell me if it works. If it doesn't work, you can tell me. But okay. But also, currently they are not built with GMP support, because since it didn't work with GMP, we tried to remove it to see if it works better. It doesn't work better. Okay. Alors no. So now we assume you have a compiler. So if you have Git, so if you don't have Git, you use Linux, you can do something like sudo ptget install Git, and you should get it, or the equivalent for Fedora. So you close the directory with this command, and you go to Paris.
Sorry. Having Paris version 2.80, do I have to delete it and reinstall it this way, or should I somehow update it?
Just do it in a place where there is no Paris directory already. Okay, you just need to find somewhere when there is no Paris directory already. Okay, you can do a special directory for the Atelier and put everything in it. So the idea is to have a standardized installation, so that we can tell everybody will have the same environment. Okay.
Yeah.
I get loading into 3 and then it gets.
Yeah, it's very slow. Yes.
Oh, that's one.
Okay, so because you need to download 100 megabytes of data, so it's
A few minutes.
It's few minutes. Okay. So, okay. So I continue. First, if you don't have Git, and if you don't really know to install it easily, you can go to these directories, and there is this file like this, which are just snapshots of the content of the Git repository for the last night. Okay, so we will wait a bit before going there. So I think I covered all possibilities.
So if you're in trouble and cannot apply one of the steps below. Before, please notify us so that we can try unstuck. There is a very common problem, especially on Macs, when you use the Git repository. There is a slight difference. Bill told you a little white lie. There's a difference between a tar.gz archive, that is a nightly snapshot, and the content of the Git repository. The snapshot is actually a distribution snapshot. In particular, it includes the parser, the GP parser, in an already compiled form. So you actually need fewer tools to process the nightly builds. In particular, if you get the sources through Git, compilation may fail with an error in the Bison tool, and then it becomes a bit complicated. So either we fix it once and for all on your machine by installing all the needed tools, or you use the tar.gz. Basically, what we advertise, what we want people to do, is to use the Git repository, because then, in particular, you're able to contribute, you're able to modify things and send us the difference in a formatted way without thinking. And then you get everything in a suitable form. If you have a problem with Bison, then please call us. We'll try to fix it. The easiest way to fix it is just to copy the file parse.c that can be found on the server. I'm going to make this a FAQ and explain in detail how it must be done. We usually we didn't think about it that much, because for us Git was for developers, and we thought that developers had all the necessary development tools installed, and it need not be the case now. We're also advocating it for everybody. So this is one fine point. Another fine point, when you're going to try this, which may fail during the configure phase, it may fail to find either GMP or the readline library. Basically, during this step, double check any line that becomes with a sharp sharp sign. It means that something was not detected or didn't go according to plan. It would be very nice if in half an hour or so everybody had a fully working thing. So if you're in trouble, then we can go and help. So Herbert, I gather, has problems.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I need a little explanation. If you use Linux, this works fine. So, configure. We use prefig equal GP, so we will install the result binary in the subdirectory GP majuscule. So everybody will have the binaries at the same place in the current directory. Okay. So you won't mess with your systems. You will just install GP in your current directory. And emptying equal to thread is to allow for parallelism using POSIX thread. Empty for multi-thread. So this one is compiled documentation. This one the test. So it should take about 2 minutes, I think, to run all the test. This one will install the GP inside big GP. This one is speed up because we use this thread mod, so we install this version which is faster. And then we do the same for the debugging version. So this last line actually launches GP because so this will be the way for you to launch this version of GP. So if you manage to do the previous step, then you can configure GP. So you need to create a file .gprc in your own directory. I think on Windows it's gprc.txt. And you add this line. You can copy paste. So we will explain what it does. Oh, there is a bug. So the .gprc is the GP startup file. When you start GP, we read this file. So the first line says that to write to record your GP command in the file .gp_history. Well, sorry for the backslash.
Is it necessary? The backslash?
No, it is not necessary. But it doesn't really make a difference. It will record your command. So if you stop GP and restart GP, you can use the history to recover what you did last time. It's a bit crude, but sometimes it's very useful. So colors, why if you like to have colors, you can set light BG or dark BG. So it depends on your terminal. If you have terminal with white background, you use light BG. If you have dark background, you use dark BG. Just to have a color scheme which is visible on your terminal. Line equal 40 is to limit the output of GP to avoid overflowing your terminal. Because if you compute some very large object and you print it by mistake, it can take 1 million lines to print and will flood your terminal. So with this, it's limited to 40 lines and then we give up. Not very important. And so this one is very important. Is in traditional Paris, you use Paris for the time, you know there is a stack and sometimes the stack overflow and then you have to increase the stack and restart your computation. So last year we made a new mechanism when there is still a stack and can still overflow, but you can preset the maximum size of the stack at startup and then it will increase automatically the stack until you reach the maximum value. So we try to do the stack as small as possible, but it will, if you overflow the stack, it will simply grow it instead of stopping. So the only problem is you need to choose the maximum amount of memory you want to use, because otherwise Paris will put overgrow the stack until it off your memory of your computer, and your computer will crash. So this way you can limit it. So you can choose. Maybe add the memory of your computer or something. Safe. So it depends what computer you have, but current laptop, modern laptop for 4 GB should be fine. However, you can put. And of course, if you have a very large computer, you can put 1 TB. And the last line. So it makes GP to continue by reading this file to the personnal.gp. And then you can create an empty file personnal.gp. And this will allow you to write the GP command you want to run a startup, to define function you want to be defined as startup of GP in this file. And then it will be loaded automatically each time you use. Okay. Because this file is not in GP format, it's not a GP file. So if you want to write GP command, you put them in there. Okay. The next step is to build GP to C. So either with Git, but if you use Git, we'll need a bison to make autoconf. Or without Git, and then it's a bit easier because it's the same thing, everything is. So I made a release yesterday, so to be sure the latest release is the most common. So you can do that.
Does this support Paris Git?
So if you manage to download GP2C, so maybe it's simpler to use the latest release version that I made yesterday to be sure it is current. Then you can use this command. So what does it do is
C'est pas une bug ça.
you need to tell him where is your Paris installation. So this line, tell him where is your Paris installation. And this one, where is debugging Paris installation.
Ça c'est fait. Voilà, le lecteur. Faites pas le next test parce que ça prend quand même 15 minutes.
If you manage to install Git, to compile with Git.
A priori, là, je peux sortir de cette session, me connecter sur d'autres et continuer sur le
Par contre, je me suis déconnecté.
So if you need to update, if you want to update to the latest version, so today is not needed, but tomorrow maybe you want to do it. You can do this git fetch, which will download the new change from the server, and git to base of master, which will update your branch to the latest
Vous allez
change.
dans CD /etc/sudo
Oui, mais pourquoi j'ai fait comme ça?
espace /etc/sudo et puis mettez un complète. Allez-y.
Okay.
LS.
And
Très bien. Alors vous faites copie sudo. Non, vous êtes admin. Copie.
Pour qu'il aille chercher ensuite
Non, copie.
so now if you want to access, the benefit of using Git is that you can access other branch other than the master branch.
De login
So
de l'utilisateur.
if you do a git branch with A in all the branch, so you will get a big list. I try to make it a bit smaller, but still large. And as an example, one of the branches is this one, BSCA parallel, which is an attempt to have a parallel implementation of the AC algorithm to confront of the curve.
Parce que vous connaissez pas Max.
So if you like to try this branch,
J'ai les mains qui tremblent.
then you can do git checkout origin BSCA parallel, -b SCA parallel. This will create a local branch SCA parallel which will be identical to this the remote branch origin BSCA parallel.
Non, j'ai cliqué sur
And you will switch to it directly.
Faites ce
So
que je
now
vous
you can do it like this thing. And when you are fed up with BSCA parallel, you can go back to master. Okay, so if you want to go back to the master branch, you do that, which I will tell in the previous slide. If you want to see the latest commit in the current branch, you git log right there.
déjà que
Non, il faut pas.